come and down it with me. He's the angriest gamer you've ever heard. He's the angry Nintendo nerd. He's the angry Atari Sega nerd. He's the angry video game nerd.
Hey, fucking Scorpion. I need a beer. Hey, where's my beer droid? Hey! Come on, bring me a beer. Yeah, it's my beer droid. Hey. Alright. Okay. Yeah. Alright, come on. The next stage, the beat a game button. Yeah, all you do, if you're playing a really hard game, you just push the button and the game's beat. Let's try it out. Ninja Gaiden 2. Ooh, that's a hard game. Oh, man. Oh, shit. I'm getting my ass kicked. Legend of Zelda. Beat it. Mega Man. Beat it. You never thought you'd beat a hard game like that, not without the beat a game button. Alright, all you games, consider your ass beat. Alright, back to Star Wars. Rusty hunk of junk. Ow! Empire Strikes Back is our next. And that's where I reach my limit, because the game's too hard. There was no Return of the Jedi game, not an NES. I guess they knew when to stop. Hey, Beer Droid. You know what? Just never mind. To be fair, the NES
wasn't hard enough and it needed the fucking nerd in it, then this is for you. Anyway, let's play some more AVGN games. Hey nerd, since you've been doing AVGN games, how about an AVGN board game? Board games? What is this? Why does everyone always drop in uninvited? Oh, come on, this is a great game. Check it out. Angry Video Game Nerd Monopoly by Matthew Nielsen. Everybody knows how to play Monopoly. It's the same thing, but all the properties are games that you've reviewed, nerd. Like Superman 64, Deadly Towers, and Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Ooh. Instead of trains for the transit system, how about traveling around in the tornado from Simon's Quest? There's glitch cards and used game shop cards. Some of my favorites are you break your TV out of rage from playing Wayne's World and have to pay $150 for a new one. And how about you achieve the highest score in the Terminator and get paid $150? Cheating fine for using Game Genie. Or check out this one. You revisit Castlevania 2, Simon's Quest. You're revisiting it, so that means you're going backwards and not past the press start panel. Very elaborate way to say go back. Or you accidentally use an Atari Jaguar console as the toilet and the shopkeeper charges you $50 for damages. Where does he get his prices from? Yeah, Jaguar CDs are way more expensive than that. But isn't that awesome? Somebody made a Monopoly game about you. Everybody's got to have a Monopoly game. Even AC/DC has a Monopoly game. Yeah, that's cool, but how'd you get here? Aren't you supposed to be in jail? Oh, well, I used the get out of jail free card. Yeah, but didn't you kill your friends or something? That wasn't me. That wasn't me. That was the fucking phone! God! Fuck you! And everybody! Okay. You know, that guy looks familiar. Anyway, speaking of phones, next we have a game that you play on your phone. Well, okay. This is Texting of the Bread.
Angry Nintendo nerd, Atari nerd, Sega nerd, PlayStation nerd, Tiger Electronic wristwatch game nerd. Form Angry video game nerd. What do you get when you take Godzilla, Ultraman,
S's. It came out in '89 and wasn't discontinued until 2003. During its lifespan, there was Super Nintendo, Nintendo 64, and even GameCube hit the scene before this gray brick with puke-colored graphics finally died out. Also, as famously shown in Nintendo Power, a soldier in the Gulf War had a Game Boy that survived a bomb blast. Even though it was burnt black, it still powered on. You can't stop the Game Boy. They were released in different colors, like black, red, and yellow. They even made one transparent. Nintendo Power made stickers, which are still on my only working Game Boy. Then there was the carrying case, which looked like a giant Game Boy. A whole lineage was started, including the Game Boy Color, the Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Advance SP, which evolved into the DS and 3DS. But it's impressive how long the original Game Boy stuck around. And naturally, during that time, lots of add-ons were made for it, mostly by third parties. These range from practical to flat-out ridiculous. And that's what I want to focus on here. The point is, the Game Boy was a long-lived success, and here's the accessories that probably had nothing to do with it. The Super Game Boy was perhaps the most useful, though it's technically a Super Nintendo add-on, an adapter to play Game Boy games on your TV, colorized with lots of color presets and the option to mix your own color combinations. There's border graphics and the ability to draw all over it. A total time waster, but how could you resist? Certain games were specifically made for the Super Game Boy with their own color design and borders. But onto the Game Boy. The first thing that comes to mind is the link cable. It's just a simple way to connect two Game Boys so two players could compete in Tetris, for example. But then there's the 4-player adapter. It sounds cool, but you need 4 people, 4 copies of the same game, and the game had to be 4-player compatible. That's a rare situation. It would be easier to get the band Witchfinder General back together than getting 4 people to play this thing. Then there's the Game Genie, so you can enter cheat codes. You'd think maybe, just maybe, with this being a portable console, there would be a possibility that it would be the only console to not have Game Genie? But nope. What next? Is there a Game Genie for a Tiger game? So when you're playing in public, everybody will notice this big contraption mounted on the top. Just a big flag to say, hey everybody, I'm cheating. I do have to say, it's really cool that it has a spot that holds the code book. Now you have no excuse to misplace it. With all portable consoles, there's always that issue that when you're going on a trip, you always had to make sure to pack extra batteries. You know there's a battery called God Camel and Die Hard? Yippee double A, motherfucker. But you didn't need any of that, because the Game Boy had its own rechargeable battery pack. Sure, you had to buy it separately, but you had the option. But then comes all the weird third-party stuff like the Game Boy Solar Charger. Oh, come on, you can charge a Game Boy with sunlight? So I tried it. You're supposed to lay it out in the sun for up to 8 hours for a full charge. Then you slip your Game Boy in it, you plug the solar unit into the DC input on the side of the Game Boy, and it works. I have no idea how long it lasts, but it works. Well, this is an eco-friendly solution right here. I'm impressed. So when it comes to charging a Game Boy, there's many options. Is there anything else I don't know about? Is there a Game Boy Wins charge?
Wait a minute. You're not a real pizza boy. You're Culkin. I'm playing Home Alone games with Macaulay Culkin. Ah!
Really? Really? Never seen that before. It's new. Can we just get back to the fucking games?
Right. Next up, Home Alone 2 on Super Nintendo.
All right, I'm sure they've learned from their mistakes.
Yeah.
They're gonna get it all together.
Mm-hmm.
And it's gonna be our time.
Yeah.
Our time down here. Down here, it's our time.
Yeah, this one should be better. In fact, why don't you play this one? Because after all, they're your games.
So this is the sequel.
The 90s was arguably one of the best times for video games. You had so many new consoles coming out, and with junk food being popular and already advertising to kids, they decided to jump on the bandwagon and start making their own video games. Most food companies just stuck to TV commercials, got milk, fruit stripe gum, Lunchables, and of course Mentos, the fresh maker. Those companies didn't have to make video games, but guess who did? Cheetos, McDonald's, and Domino's Pizza, who created Yo-Noid. What's the deal with the Noid? What kind of drugged-up fever dream spawned this mutilated mascot monstrosity? It's a creepy guy wearing a red rabbit suit. And why does he ruin pizzas? What were they thinking? Most junk food games are just a bunch of business bullshit from the wasted imaginations from all the corporate fat cats. So, get out your pooper scooper and let's dig out this pissless...
Ass! He's gonna take you back to the past to play the shitty games that suck ass. He'd rather have a buffalo take a diarrhea dump in his ear. He'd rather eat the rotten asshole of a roadkill skunk and down it with beer. He's the angriest gamer you've ever heard. He's the angry Nintendo nerd. He's the angry Atari Sega nerd. He's the angry video game nerd.
Indeed, anytime we try to play a game with you, we can never get through it.
Listen, guys, I know I pulled a few bombers, but come on. Just give me one more chance.
Well, this thing explodes anyway, so how much could he fuck it up, really?
Look. Alright, fine. You can play the game, but you gotta understand, the donuts explode off the top and it can be very startling. Can you handle that?
Easy as pie. Now, what do you say? Let's G-O, go, go, Gia-ho!